himself. The thing that I've always found very interesting, but I actually found it quite annoying, if I'm being honest, is the way that Republicans or nobody on the right who preached about corruption and the corruption that in the Biden administration, which there was a lot of, and we don't need to go into it because we all know what it was. Mm-hmm. Yet when Trump releases his meme coin, which to me is just outrageous, everybody's like, oh, that's fine. I'm like, is it?
Can't disagree with you. I mean, it's hilarious. I think this is the most corrupt presidency in U.S. history. With the money they are raking in with the NFTs and the meme coin. I mean, it is so blatant. It's right in front of our eyes. And the funny thing about I don't care as long as we get a wall and mass deportations. If I have not made that clear, I don't care about anything but saving the country. We'll deal with, future presidents being corrupt. I mean, it's corrupt in the sense that I should probably modify what I just said. It's corrupt in the sense that he's using the presidency to rake in so much money, which I believe is technically an ethics violation, but he isn't...
Technically. Sounds like an ethics violation to me.
But I think it's better than, for example, not releasing the Epstein files because in a trade-off with his donors. Okay, give me $100 million and I won't release them. I mean, that hasn't come to light, but I'm just saying that right now he is just, as far as we know, just raking in the money to benefit himself and his family. He is pushing the MAGA policies, and I mean, I thought this, and I think I said it publicly. I think on my Substack with Mickey Kaus, because he asked me, now, if you liked Joe Biden's policies, would you care about this under Biden stuff? And we both agreed that I think most Americans wouldn't care if you liked the policies.
Well, the analogy is you don't want to live in a kleptocracy. You don't want to live in a country where people in charge of, especially in charge of law and order type positions, people who are making determinations about how we treat people who are here either illegally or have other issues with their legal status. The idea that person would act so brazenly illegally, you think would be unacceptable in any situation, not in this administration of mob bosses. So Megyn Kelly's reaction to that story, that Tom Homan had taken the bribe, was, we do not care. Don't bother real Tom Homan, he's a national treasure. So I guess some points for just honesty. She didn't care. We can live in a banana republic, we can live in a kleptocracy. High-ranking officials in the Trump administration can line their pockets. Corruption doesn't matter. All that matters is this unending battle between MAGA and anti-MAGA, right? That's all that matters to Megyn Kelly. She doesn't care if they cheat. She doesn't care if they break the law. She doesn't care if they cheat on their wives. She doesn't care if they have allegations of sexual assault and harassment. She doesn't care about any of that. She doesn't care. As long as you're wearing the MAGA hat, Megyn Kelly thinks you can act with impunity. And she's just extremely blunt about that. My colleague Sam Stein posted that. It does raise an interesting question if there is a limiting principle to that. Is there anything that someone in the Trump administration could do that Megyn Kelly would object to? And I think the answer is basically no, as long as it advanced their mission, right? If somebody in the MAGA, somebody in the administration did something to embarrass MAGA, that could upset her. But as long as they are out there advancing Trump's cult political prospects, Megyn Kelly will be okay with it. So I guess points for bluntness. I replied to that with a rhetorical question, as Kamala might say. You don't care that government officials are taking cash bribes? What? Yeah, it's like, what? Really? Like, we can't even agree on that? I as I said, I thought that was a rhetorical question that would just sort of float into the air, float into the ether of our internet discourse. But Megyn Kelly took that one sentence rhetorical question very seriously. And she spent, what appears to be the better part of a couple hours crafting a reply to it that was like Canterbury Tales at length. I'm not going to be able to read all of it because We have like limited bandwidth on this YouTube page, and the upload time would take so long if I read everything that Megyn Kelly wrote in response to my rhetorical question. But I'm going to read some of the key passages. It starts like this. Oh, also, by the way, it's so long that people were confused why I was replying to her as if she was talking to me, because you have to scroll so far to get the fact that this is a quote tweet on top of my tweet. So like I said, you don't care that government officials are taking cash bribes? What? She replies with a quote tweet thusly: "We don't trust you. We don't trust the work of your president's DOJ. We don't trust the work of your president's FBI. You indicted our presidential candidate 4 times with made-up BS charges, trying to put him in jail for life. You changed laws so he could be civilly sued by a woman who didn't even remember what year her alleged rape by him was. You let an AG who ran for office promising to get Trump try to bankrupt him on a claim so specious even the New York Appellate Court scoffed at it and had to reverse the damage award." Quick aside here, seems like the system worked there in that case, but we'll just leave that. We'll just put a pin in that. Then she goes on. "One of yours killed Charlie, and then you laughed at our pain, protested our vigils, and said Charlie was to blame and in hell. You lied about the killer's motives and said he was MAGA when you knew he wasn't. You put us all in danger by not admitting the truth and then not relenting on the lies you tell about us. You cried endless tears for Jimmy Kimmel, but none for Charlie." That's all Megyn. Again, we're about 40% way through this tweet here. I had 2 replies to that. The first one was about this pronoun usage. Megyn is somebody who's very obsessed with pronoun usage, right? She doesn't like it when people have to put their pronouns in their bio or clarify what their pronouns are. It's a big issue for her on her podcast. She seems to really struggle with pronoun usage herself. She keeps saying this: "We don't trust you." Who's the we? Does everybody not trust me? Does everybody not trust Carol Leonnig from the Washington Post, who's been a great reporter who broke this story? We don't trust the work of your president's DOJ. Like, with some context clues, I guess she's saying there that Biden was my president and not hers. I don't know who the we is there. It continues to go on. You did this, you did that. You changed laws so you could be civilly sued. I didn't do any of these things. I didn't do any of that. Like, you is a personal pronoun. And I didn't do any of the things that you're upset about. So we can go through the merits of all of these things and whether you are right to be upset about them. I think in some of these cases, I think it's crazy, for example, that Megyn Kelly would smear the work of good people who work in law enforcement, who protect this country, who work at the FBI, who worked at the Department of Justice, who went out and got bad guys, who went out and got sex traffickers, who went out and got predators that went after children.
The Attorney General says nobody is above the law. But let me bring up the case of Tom Homan. He was here last week. Again, Republicans show up, and I so appreciate it. And I even said,
I'm here for it.
I know. I even said to, thank you for the, he's been doing this since the 80s. He's done some good things. I don't agree with the things he's doing, a lot of them with ICE. But it came out the next day. By the way, the people who were all saying, Bill, why didn't you ask him about this? Because it hadn't happened yet last week. The next day, an undercover sting operation recorded Tom Homan taking $50,000 in cash in a bag. A bag. Now, we're not going to call this a bribe because that's what normal people do. They take money in a bag. And the FBI, again, because we are way past having an independent FBI or Justice Department, says we're not pursuing it. I want to get your feelings on this, and then also your feelings on what Megyn Kelly tweeted, which I want to know if this is your feeling too. It seems to be she's speaking for a lot of Republicans. She said, "We do not care. Bag of cash in a paper bag. We do not care." Is that where you are?
Well, no, I take on Republicans and Democrats. I call them balls and strikes. In fact, I'm going, no, 100%.
Come on, man.
No, I absolutely am. And my record shows that. But what Kash Patel said is that they investigated this. It was not true. He didn't take a bag of cash. And that there is.
It's on tape.
Have you heard the tape? I haven't heard the tape. I would rather hear the tape and hear what's going on, but Kash Patel said they investigated it, that he did not do that, and this was the Biden administration targeting him, trying to ensnare him in something he did not do, and then the White House stated this week that it didn't happen, and case closed. That's what they said. That's what the FBI said. They investigated.
Okay, well, then I made this hat for you. It's, we do not care. I think it's a good upgrade on the, you would like that?
Can I answer one thing about? Yeah, they're just mad Trump's doing to them what they did to them. So I don't care what you call it. I'm with Greg. Revenge, retribution, accountability. Who cares? It's happening. And I'm enjoying it because these people need to be punished. If someone declares war on you, what are you going to just turn the other cheek? You're right. It is an eye for an eye. And I hope we win. They're asking like, oh, well, this is like the revenge tour. Well, what would the revenge be for, Jessica? What would the revenge be for? No one really answers that question. All right? It's because they arrested him. They arrested his campaign manager, his campaign advisor, his lawyers, his national security advisor. They arrested his trade advisor and put him in shackles. They arrested his CFO. They arrested his valet. And not only that, they spied on him, staged a coup, impeached him twice, tried to bankrupt his company, leaked his tax returns, and then couldn't protect him from a sniper. So what are you supposed to do? They didn't think this was going to happen? They're stupid.
They did, which is why Biden gave preemptive pardons, because he knew that you were a vengeful bunch of babies.
But who didn't get it? But who didn't get the pardon?
Comey missed out on the
Comey didn't get the pardon. So this is just the beginning. Everybody has to have their house in order. They got to make sure their taxes are right. They got to make sure they never lied to Congress. They have to make sure they never committed mortgage fraud. Because the difference here is these things are actual crimes. When you lie to Congress, it's a crime. When you obstruct an official investigation, that's a crime. They didn't have to bake up some fugazi, untested, unprecedented law thing like Bragg. Oh, Eric Siebert. He's basically Comey's best friend. He got stuck in there.
Is that why Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche defended him?
In there. And then, like, all of Comey's, like, misfits are sitting in there. You get them out of there, clean out the scum, and put real people in there to do the job. Yeah, Kash Patel's a serious guy. And all he's doing is making it right. Now, Jessica,
he said he didn't know if Epstein ever trafficked anyone.
I'm not talking
That's
about
a serious
Epstein.
guy. No, that's about Kash Patel's seriousness.
We really don't care what you guys say or what you think or how loud you're complaining, because you guys did this, you started it, and we're going to finish it.
Does this count as Jessica's time?
No.